Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Lao Tzu. I love this work. This is all written and spoken about 2,500 years ago, and it is as true today as it was then. Maggie, a very good morning. It's awesome seeing you. So I'll quickly get into a couple of thoughts from Lao Tzu that lead us into today's meditation. Lorraine, good morning. Very happy to have you here. Right, some thoughts from Lao Tzu. He says, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." Knowing others could be considered wise, but knowing yourself is enlightened. Somebody, a very good morning. Awesome seeing you. Linda, good morning. Great seeing you here. Charlene, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Similar thought from Lao Tzu. He says, knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. This is the theme of our meditation today. Self-knowledge. How do we find deeper self-knowledge? Really knowing yourself is a core principle of any of the ancient wisdoms, having a deep knowledge of self. And the answer to how do we get better at it, Lao Tzu says, knowledge is a treasure. Practice is the key to it. Practice is the key to unlocking the treasure. Akasua, I always struggle to know if I pronounce your name correctly. Boitumelo is the easy one. Tselang's the easy one. Akasua, I'm not too sure if I've got that right, but good morning. It's awesome seeing you here. Right, so getting into this thought a little bit more. Knowledge is like having a treasure in a locked chest. Can you imagine having treasure, but the chest is locked and you can't get to it? It's so close but yet so far, because even the richest treasure is not worth anything if it is locked away from you, if you have no access to it. The key to unlocking the treasure is practice. The word meditation means to become familiar with. And what exactly we become familiar with through the practice of meditation is self. Self is what we become familiar with. For a moment, let go of the idea of never being triggered again. Sometimes we have this idea we can get to a place that we never become triggered again. Maybe we'll get to a place where we never have unwanted feelings anymore, but for the moment, let go of that idea. What if every thought and every feeling you have is intimately familiar to you? What if you can still have triggering thoughts and feelings, but they have become really familiar to you? What if you never become unsettled or blindsided by an emotion or a thought because you know exactly why it shows up, where it comes from and how to deal with it, because you've become deeply familiar with your mind to the point that all of this is welcomed, all of this is accepted? Can you imagine the ease and the speed with which you will be able to move through whatever has upset you? How much faster would you be able to return your attention to where your energy is spent most productively? The key to this treasure is practice, because everything you practice, you become better at. Today's meditation is a look at self, a look at kind of the opposites that we have in ourselves. And some of these are things we think, this I'd like to be more of, and some of this are things we think, I'd rather have less of this. What if we could bring these opposite sides of what we sometimes experience together, just hold them both, and allow them both to exist side by side? So if you're ready, our meditation today is called A Sense of Self. Let's dive right in. You can close your eyes, and we'll take the first few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in. And out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Deep inhale and out. One more big breath in. And let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly, and as you breathe in, also raise yourself up. As you inhale, stretch out your spine and lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. Once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. As you breathe out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders and drop your head. Your only job right now, during this phase of full body breathing, is with every exhale to lead your body to softness. With every breath out, become softer than the one before. The meaning of the word meditation is to become familiar with. And what we become most familiar with is self. It is natural that the first part of self we start becoming familiar with as we sit down are the outer layers. The first part of self we become familiar with is what is transient in nature. Our outer layers are made up of all of the things we've picked up along the way. All of our fears, all of our coping mechanisms, protecting us from these fears, all of the armor we have pulled around ourselves in order to deal with the scary world. These outer layers come with big emotions. anger, fear, sadness, hatred, jealousy, rage. But all of these are transient. It is like watching the sky and seeing how weather passes through. Everything that rolls in also rolls out. These are the first things we start becoming familiar with as we sit and meditate. And often these are also the things that make us quit. We feel like, I can't get this. This is too hard. I'm always just dealing with the dark stuff, the hard stuff. But it takes time. It takes the time dealing with these transient things for us to see deeper and to start becoming familiar with what lies underneath all of these outer layers, what has permanence to it. What is always there below the surface. And at our core is this space from where we are the witness. We can be the observer of all of these transient things. We can watch them come and go and be unmoved by them. It takes more time to become familiar with this part of ourselves. But remind yourself, the next time you see the dark clouds roll in, remind yourself that these are just the outer layers. And it's okay for them to roll in because they also always roll out. They always have. All you need to do is be the witness. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down. Take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big circles, but keep it nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Every time you give your spine movement, and that is any way you move your back muscles, forward and back, left and right, however it is that you move your spine, every time you do this, you're also moving spinal fluid up and down your spinal cord. This lubricates your nervous system. It puts grease on the gears, wakes up your brain. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch, move, adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. If you don't have the time to sit down for the whole meditation with us, this would be a great place to stop. And if you are here for the whole journey, with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a long and slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body and invite softness into every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. And as you release, follow the downwards flow. Feel how your shoulders slowly fall. Feel how your body slowly softens, and feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose invites you to follow. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but only for as long as it feels easy. Follow it with a really long, really slow exhale. Our journey today is called a sense of self, and as you take your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, place your hand on your heart and say hello to you. Welcome yourself to you. Take your next big breath. We are creating two opposing pictures of ourselves today. Starting with the first one, we'll use an example that I'm sure most of us are really familiar with. I want you to imagine yourself driving behind the wheel of your car in traffic. Take a moment to see that picture. Take your next big breath. I want you to try and remember a moment driving your car, being in traffic, and really being triggered. We normally don't have to search too far. Bad drivers are everywhere. Aggressive driving is all around us. People all in their own survival mode, not caring too much about their fellow drivers on the road. Can you remember a moment of being really triggered behind the wheel of your car in traffic? Take your next big breath. Take a moment to step away from this angry part of you. See yourself in the car. See the emotional reaction. See the anger, the rage. See your body language. See your facial expression. See the words you were using, the words you were thinking. Take your next big breath. Reach for one more example, not behind the wheel of your car, but also an example of being triggered. This could be triggered by someone close to you, a family member, a good friend, a child, a colleague, or maybe someone in a store or a restaurant, or maybe just at the world in general. Remind yourself of one more incident where you felt highly triggered. And take a step back and try and take a good look at this human, this part of you that felt so triggered. Angry? What other words could you use to describe it? Remind yourself of what your body language looked like, what the expression on your face looked like. Remind yourself of the words you were using or thinking. Take your next big breath. If you could look at any of these two examples of you being highly triggered, if you were able to look at this human and ask a question sincerely, whether it's being in traffic and having the space in front of you taken by some crazy driver, or someone driving really dangerously, or being triggered by another human being in your vicinity. If you could look at you and ask this human a question, the question would be, what is it that you're afraid will happen? What is it that you're afraid will happen? Take your next big breath. And then let's change the picture completely. You behind the wheel again, in traffic. I want you to remind yourself of all the times there were bad drivers around you and you were not triggered. All of the times you felt when someone tries to squeeze into the space in front of you, thought, actually, maybe it's better that you get ahead of me. I'd rather have you move off and continue being in my space. Maybe you have an emergency, maybe you're late for work, whatever it might be, go on your way. You have many examples of these too, of dealing with a human being that might be aggressive towards you, and still being able to hold your own, not be triggered, listen calmly, respond peacefully. Remind yourself for a moment of many of these examples that you also have. Take your next big breath. Take a moment to appreciate this part of you. The part of you that does have the ability to be calm under pressure. Put your hand on your heart and take a moment to say thank you to this part of you also existing. Take your next big breath. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, invite softness into every fiber of your being. One more big breath in. And hold. As you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. Take a look again at your small self, the part of you easily triggered. We could describe it in many words. It could be an inner child, it could be our wounded parts, it could be our lower nature. It doesn't really matter what label we use. But the part of you that easily becomes triggered. And if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to completely give up the idea of never having to deal with this part again, never being triggered again, never experiencing difficult emotions again. Completely let go of that idea. Look at this small self and welcome her. This part of us, if you ask the question, what is it you're afraid will happen? We find that these triggers always exist in a place that's trying to prevent something bad from happening. Trying to prevent something from being taken from us. Just really trying to help us survive. And that there's always a deep desire there. There's a deep desire for something better. And that's a huge part of this big trigger. And the biggest desire is acceptance. Self-acceptance. Not being rejected by you. If you're able to be present the next time this part is triggered, the next time your small self feels so angry or sad or whatever the emotion might be, if this happens in the next example, could you remind yourself that this is not the whole story? This really triggered part of me is not all of who I am, and also it's somehow trying to be helpful. It's hard to remember this in the moment, but maybe if you can just remember, this is not the whole story. There's more to this. And then remind yourself that the part of you that can even think that is your higher self. Is the wisdom that is you. The part of you that can hold a space for a very triggered inner child is your soul. You can trust yourself to always find your way back to the best version of you, no matter how big the trigger is. You can trust yourself to always find your way back to the best version of you, because you always have, and you'll do it again. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for getting better at seeing all of me. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for getting better at holding both the scared human and also the fearless creator. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for having become so intimately familiar with the outer layers, the reactive, fearful, angry, transient parts of me. The parts of me that flow in but also flow out. Take a deep breath in. And thank you for having become intimately familiar too with that part of me that has permanence. The part of me that has been here before and will be here after. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us on a journey of exploring yourself. We get one more example from Lao Tzu that says, knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. Ursula, good morning. Thank you for visiting us. Nella, good morning. It's always great to see you. That's so true, Sunmani. These triggers are all keys. And as we really get to understand these triggers, we get to understand how they're actually all trying to do good. Good morning, Leshna. Thank you for being on the journey with us. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Maggie. I'm trying to remember who else is in the background. Thank you, Lorraine. Have an awesome day. See you again soon. Ciao, ciao.